Welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments, the best growth mindset podcast recognized by Million Podcasts and ranked as a top mindset podcast by FeedSpot. We're proud to be in the top 1% on Listen Notes. Join Dr. Alisa Whyte as we explore powerful insights and strategies to elevate your mindset. Let's dive in.
Hello, disruptors, and welcome back to Mindset Mastery Moments. Of course, I'm your host, Dr. Alisa, your number one mindset disruptor. And listen, today's conversation is for the people who are tired of fighting the same internal battle on repeat. My guest today does not play in the land of surface level motivation. He's a human system architect, a beautiful, radiant soul that I have had the pleasure of meeting here in this beautiful thing called life. And I'm so glad he's here on this platform to share his message and his mission. He works at the identity level. He helps high performers delete emotional breaks, emotional baggage, internal friction, and all the stuff that keeps you triggered, exhausted, and pretending you're okay. And he does it fast. I mean, real fast. I did say he's our human systems architect. So buckle up your seatbelt. Make sure you're strapped in because we are getting on a rocket ship. This one's going to hit you where you've been holding tension. And you all know I talk about the shift framework. Well, just imagine the shift framework 10.0 because he's coming in and he's going to take us to another level. And I say fast. So disruptors, let's welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments my new friend and brother, Bogdan Micov. Bogdan, welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments. And we're so honored to have you. Tell us who you are, what you do, and exactly why you do it.
Thank you, Alisa. First, I need to say it's my honor to be in Mindset Mastery Moments. I have been following your episodes and I really like, I even mentioned the last one with Chopra about the Ayurvedic pride. It's very cool. So I need to say kudos to you for putting all the hard work and all the content and knowledge that people can follow on your platforms. And with that being said, whoever is listening or watching this podcast, please show some love.
Yes.
Put a 5-star review like I just did. Share, subscribe, because more people need to get familiar. More people need to get better. It's in our nature to grow, to learn, and to expand. And Dr. Alisa is a person that actually put all that together.
Thank you.
From different angles.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to me, it's very, very interesting, or let's say not that easy to introduce myself, right? Because I can start, I have so many stories.
1,000 lives.
However,
yes.
I lived 1,000 lives. And what I'm going to say is, you know how many high performers, entrepreneurs, and people that are living in a high pressure world. They know how to make money. They know how to grow companies. They have done it already, but they're consistently living under stress, under pressure. They're battling certain invisible forces within them, experiencing anxiety, depression, which is capping, literally putting a ceiling on their business, on their income. And they have tried everything. They have tried therapy. They have tried ice baths. They have tried masterminds. They have motivational speeches, but everything helps just for a while. It's not permanent.
Yes.
Well, what I do is actually helping all those people to experience a massive shift by using my proprietary Be Relentless method. So they can literally transform, get rid of all the negative emotional residue, all limiting beliefs, limiting decision, all those stories that they are telling themselves on unconscious level within several days. I would say maximum 5 days.
Wow.
And get it fast, because the Be Relentless method will work on the root cause of everything.
Wow.
Not on the story, but what creates the story. not on the belief itself, but what creates the belief. Not the emotion, but what creates the emotion and the strategy there.
Yes.
So in that moment, they can free themselves up and they can operate from calm, they can operate from joy, and they can operate from a place where only growth is the vision, not what holds them back.
Wow. Wow. And I can tell from just experiencing your energy here, you represent that already. And so many things. We already start chatting before we hit record, and just your energy is just a peace and clarity and assertiveness and confidence and just a calm aura. So we are going to have a really power pack episode. Listen, get buckling. Don't stop it. Keep going. Or if you have to pause, come back, but share it with someone else. Every time you pause, you have to share it with someone else. So you talk about that very bold take. You say that people don't need more mindset work. They need deletion. And I'm like, okay, I can get that because in my own journey, I talk about reframing, but there have been some things that I've had to literally, completely, utterly just delete. It wasn't something that I could reframe, it needed to be delete. So break that down for us. What does deletion actually mean in your world?
So I will start with a very funny analogy. It's not an analogy, actually, it's what I'm experiencing very often.
Yeah.
Many times a client or a potential client comes to me and said, like, I have this and this issue in the business and I cannot take the next step. And I'm like, why not? And they say, well, I think I'm lacking confidence.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, you're lacking confidence. How do you know? And they usually say, well, I know, I feel like I don't have confidence.
Hmm.
And then in my mind is walking like, so you're confident that you lack confidence, which is the truth,
Oh my goodness, that sounds like
which
something
is,
I would say.
which, which is literally the truth. The confidence is there,
It's just
just is
misplaced.
misplaced on a different place. So people don't need more confidence, they need less fear.
Yes.
People don't need more motivation, they need less distraction. So when I say deletion, I say that the whole Be Relentless method works on the principle of subtraction, not addition.
Addition.
So I will explain. I will explain. People will, let's say, if we're talking about business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
they will go and learn skills. They will learn this skill, 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 they will learn add of that knowledge and everything that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's addition, right? But you can add as much. However, if there is one fear, one doubt that is there, all that knowledge goes to hell.
Mm-hmm.
You will not gonna execute the knowledge, and you're not even resourceful enough when you're operating from that state of mind. The
Right.
moment when you subtract or you remove the fear, it's when that knowledge comes from. So I
Mm.
always say, you don't need to become someone else. You are already the diamond. And the reason why you're not shining is because you're covered with mud, with
Mm.
all those old beliefs, old values, something that the world taught you. You would have been conditioned with a sum total of beliefs, values, attitudes, and stories that you're telling yourself that are creating a negative emotion, and they're stopping you at this particular moment
Yes.
to actually progress because you have increased the standards, you have increased the goals, and
Mm.
now new bugs, I call them bugs, like beliefs, they start showing up and they're blocking that. And it can be many different things, right? And you mentioned something very interesting. You mentioned like reframing.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to be very bold with that reframing thing.
Come to it. Tell us.
If there is something that works like reframing, then why a certain belief people are reframing it every single day? Why it doesn't stick? Why it doesn't stick?
Come on.
If they're reframing it every day,
Right.
because I have a way more surgical approach
Right.
to this problem. So
Right.
let's talk about certain limiting belief, right? Maybe the limiting belief
Mm-hmm.
is money is evil.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
For some people.
Yeah. The love
I'm
of
talking
money.
from my own personal
Yeah.
experience, had that type of conditioning, that belief that I have adopted
Money.
from my
Yeah.
father,
Money is the
that he
root
was
of all money.
frustrated at his yeah, like he was frustrated from all his bosses and everything else. And me, kid, I didn't have the ability even to question the validity of that thought. And I created a belief. So most of the people, they will work on the belief itself. For me, what I mean by deletion is I work on the limiting decision, not the limiting belief, which is
For
before the limiting belief was created, because we had to make a decision, whether consciously or unconsciously, that that thought of money is the root of all evil is true, and it applies to us.
Right.
So, and that's the decision. And always, almost always, that limiting decision is charged by a negative emotion, whether
Yes.
it's anger, whether it's guilt, whether is I don't know, fear, whatever it is there. And that negative emotion literally acts like a glue, like an anchor on the limiting belief. Until we delete that emotion, we get it out of our nervous system, we're not going to be able to be reframing. That's like twisting in place, reframing, but not letting it go. The
Right.
moment when you remove and delete the negative emotion is when that belief becomes just a thought, meaningless thought. And then we can assign another meaning, learn the lesson from it, and then install a new empowering belief that serves us a better purpose. That's in few words what deletion it is. And when I say the word deletion, I mean it, because if you go and follow some of my socials, I post a lot of reactions after a session with my clients. They literally forget even what the problem was.
Wow.
Literally, we change the neurological pathway from thought to emotion, interrupt the pattern on the quantum mechanics level. So they literally grow, like they grow a new brain cell that is being used for thinking right now in the moment. So it's a completely different direction. And that emotion does not even exist. And most of the time, it's just a memory, but very often, even the memory of that problem that they come in with disappears. They cannot even remember, because you probably know, and your guests are very educated.
Yeah.
What do we remember the most? What are the strongest memories? The strongest memories are the one with attached
With
very strong emotion, whether positive
or negative.
negative. So I want to keep the positive ones because those are
Those
good
serve us.
memories.
Yes.
But when we have a bad memory,
Yes.
when you have a bad memory, we can literally get that memory detached from the negative emotion.
Yes.
And then it just becomes a memory without meaning, without an emotional charge, and we can do whatever we want to do with it.
Exactly. I believe I subscribe to the process, just calling it reframing in my world. I know that the work of mindset refund to reframing a lot, and that's the word I use. But it's always been, and I always tell, because I'm by nature a root cause analysis person. If someone tells me I can't go to the fair, I'm like, why? Well, I have so many other things I needed to do. And well, we plan to go to this fair. Why? What happened? And so I want to know what happened. It's just you have so many, you were giving me surface level. Let's go deeper. Why? Why? And it comes down to you didn't prioritize going to the fair. So if you didn't prioritize it and you don't, and then when we come down to why you didn't prioritize it, well, I don't really like going to fairs. I just kind of wanted to hang out with you, but I don't really like going to fairs. So the truth is, the real reason under there is that you want to spend time with me, but you don't like going to fairs. So you're not going to go to the fair. You literally almost decided way before you even met me that fairs you're not going to go to fairs. So that decision is beneath all that. So it's always understanding why. But for me, who is disappointed that you're not coming with me, I'm making a decision that you are not going to always be truthful in the journey with me. So now I'm going to address that. Listen, you can always tell me Bogdan, you don't want to go. You don't want to go. It's fine. I am fine with you telling me the absolute truth. So now we have taken our relationship. We didn't reframe our relationship. We clarify. We delete the aspect of you feeling you have to be untruth or not 100% truthful with me. But in that scenario, is why I give that scenario. What I find is it is so hard for us to get to the root of what is truly we need to delete or reframe, whatever we call it.
But I
What
would
is that?
say even I would say even first the labeling is very hard.
Mm,
It is a limiting belief, right?
wow.
I would use the word it's not easy,
Mm,
right? It's not always easy because some of them are unconscious, right?
hmm.
And it's not easy to come. You need to bring the unconscious conscious so we can actually work on it,
Right.
right? That's, let's say, the most known way how to do it.
Hmm.
Now, in that process, some people would have resistance,
Right.
right? In that process, some people will have resistance. And within that process, there might be also a secondary gain. If they
Mm,
open up, it may mean something bad for them. So the resistance is even bigger and even bigger and even bigger. However, the beautiful thing is there is a tools and there is, how to say, techniques and modalities
yes.
that actually don't need for you to become conscious of the problem, but you instruct the unconscious itself on a very symbolic level to go back, find the root cause, and then deal with it
Mm,
when it comes. So there is a ways. Now, if it's a conversational type of session where it is, we can really dig that deep in it. You just need to know where to look for. If you're a doctor, if you're a surgeon, you press until it hurts, right? Now, not necessarily that's going to be that way, but you will need to really dig deeper. So let's say about that fair. You said, I don't like going at fairs, right? The US, like, okay, why didn't you tell me?
right.
And then, oh, like I was afraid you might get
Angry
angry
at
at
me.
me, right? So there is a fear. And then will come like, okay, if I did get if I did get angry at you, what would that mean
Mm,
about you? And then they say, like, oh, that I am not good enough. We have a very deep limiting belief there. And
yes.
then you even go deeper. You want to say you're not good enough for me, or you are not enough as yourself. So there is
Wow.
very big difference in that
Ooh.
moment. And when it comes to the point of, I think I am not enough,
Mm-hmm.
that's a primordial limiting belief. It's a very, very deep engraved limiting belief. And you work with that. That belief, I don't like fairs, I don't like this, I want to be with you. That doesn't matter. That I am not enough. When you deal with that, everything else
It
that follows
was,
that
oh,
collapses
that is way
after that.
deeper. Yes, because it will reframe, it will delete a whole lot of drama from a whole lot of places when you are able to identify, I have a belief
Absolutely.
buried within me that I'm not enough. Wow.
Those beliefs are very funny. Like, kind of, I see them like entities, right? Like, visually in my mind, they're like entities. So those beliefs are very funny because there is different beliefs that they buddy up, they create their own network, and they are serving the same master. So that they're like a branches from a core.
Right.
They're coming out and they're supporting the master consistently, which in this case, like we mentioned, like, I'm not good enough or I'm not enough. And all of those that are like a branches. Sometimes people that do not really do the work that I'm doing, they will going to get on one belief, on second belief. That belief goes away, but then in different areas of life, in different problems, that shows up again. And that's why people keep on looping, keep on doing the same thing because they haven't killed the master,
Yes.
and nothing survives that after that. However, every belief is a limiting belief
Yeah.
because it limits us in a certain way.
Wait.
So we should expect that the moment when we start growing financially, relationships, career-wise, or something else, we should expect that new beliefs will going to show their face. New limiting beliefs that were going to show their. They were not showing their face at that moment simply because they didn't have a need. You weren't on that level. The moment when you jump from making 50K a month to 200K a month, now it comes another belief, and another belief may be, I am not deserving of this.
Wow.
Okay, now that one showed up its face. Let's deal with that. And it happens very often, especially people in a moment of growth. They will literally push through their threshold if they were used on 100K a month. They will push through the threshold on $200,000 a month, and suddenly they start self-sabotaging it. They don't put enough work. They don't. They start spending money. They start gambling. They buy stupid things that they don't even need. They simply like they have bomb in their pocket so they can actually get rid of, and it's just extra money. Why? Because by their default is 100K. It's not 200K, and that 200K is probably coming, oh, that's more responsibility, I'm not deserving, can I handle this pressure, can I go to that point? And then they start self-sabotaging. That's the moment when they usually come to me. It's like, I don't know why, but the moment when I make a record month, the next month goes to hell. Like literally, I spend the money, I go, and then we find the driving factors. Is their driving factor, is their motivation running away from pain or running towards pleasure? Most of them, it's running away from pain, which is in their mind is not, I want to be rich. In their mind is, I don't want to be poor. And for them to find the motivation, what they need to find the problem consistently so they can actually do something. That's why they spend the money, and the moment when they feel, oh, I'm poor, okay, now I will work again. But that's like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and they keep on sabotaging themselves. And that's a very uneasy place to be when you're consistently looking for a problem, because that's what you need. The moment, and that's part of the value, right? In the value of money, let's say, the moment when we shift to be like motivation to be running towards pleasure, then you're instructing the mind, the brain, and everything to go in that direction, and then you're not a problem solver anymore. You're a solution finder. And it's way easier to be a solution finder rather than problem solver. Feels better, it's effortless motivation, and you keep on going, and you're appreciating every step of the way.
Yes. So let's get into the part you talk about identity friction. And I'm pretty sure you already started to talk on it, but I wanted to make sure we got that piece of your work. You've used this phrase a lot in your work. What does that actually feel like? And how does someone know they're living with identity friction?
Well, let's discuss first what identity it is.
Right.
The identity, it is the sum total of your values, attitudes, beliefs, needs that you identify yourself with, right? Now, you identify yourself with and you say, this is who am I, but in truth, this is not who you are. This is who you learned to be. Because when you got born, you didn't know about money. You didn't know about career. You didn't know about love. You didn't know about anything. You were blank slate, super curious, ever growing, ever learning being. Just imagine a baby. They're like, they're all in awe all the time. You show them a pen and they're like, oh, what's this? Curiosity. They're getting a pen and they're playing with the pen. They're childlike. But then the world, it took its hands on you. And then your parents, your grandparents, your school, your religion, your environment, and everyone started teaching you what is good, what is bad, what is wrong, what is right, and all those polarities. So we are being consistently conditioned. And after a while, we accept it like, this is who am I? I supposed to be this way. And when I say friction, is when people come to a point when they know that they are capable for more,
Yes.
but they don't know how to do it. Like, it becomes a conflict within when they know they should do and take a certain steps towards somewhere, but at the same time there is something pulling them back.
Mm-hmm.
And that becomes a friction within us. Let's say one of the very, very common, let's say, things that I see when a clients are coming to me is that inner conflict, right? So I will give you an example. I had a lady in her mid 50s, 8-figure entrepreneur,
Mm-hmm.
right? Super successful, super loved, beautiful soul, but living a very miserable life.
Mm.
And when that miserable, when I say miserable, she wasn't happy. She was consistently buying things. She was consistently doing things. She has all the money that she can do it in the world for her own lifestyle, but nothing allows her to experience a certain joy or a sense of life.
Mm.
Then, with a small little work, we discussed, we figured it out. There is one inner conflict inside, and this is exactly what the inner conflict is. So she's half European. I'm not going to mention the country.
Right.
Half European, and from her mother's side, and from her father's side, she's from the Arabic world,
Right.
right? So now she wants to honor both sides.
Yes.
So she wants to live the European lifestyle.
Mm.
She wants to have that European lifestyle when it comes those to adopt those values about marriage, kids, appearance, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't want to offend her father,
Mm.
who is heavily religious. Now, from the other side, she really appreciates the Islamic part of a family and father figure and anything else, but she doesn't feel free
Mm.
at a certain moment. And that becomes identity friction in between. And that identity friction is like you are on a T junction. So you have left or right, but you're in the middle and you cannot make a decision.
Right.
That, that can be devastating. And I will tell you for sure that inner conflict, unresolved inner conflict, not only mess up with your whole decision making in anything, love, career, and everything, it messes it up. It messes up with your physical health as well.
It does.
Inner conflict,
My goodness.
inner conflict for many years, inner conflict can lead to autoimmune diseases,
Yes, I've
which
lived
we
it.
know that they aren't very easy to deal with,
Yes.
especially for a person that has it.
Yes, I've.
And in many other dis-ease, I
Yes.
call it
Dis-ease.
with a
That's
dash
it.
in
That's
between,
it. My too.
in other dis-eases that can lead. Now, by themselves, it's a very, very challenging take to actually overcome, because no matter what decision you will make, on the back of your mind you will always going to have something that is pulling you on the other side.
Yes.
And that happens for you. You are not going with a full congruency in the decision that you make. Now imagine those two behaviors, two desires, two opposites, call it polarities.
Right.
They are creating a friction
Yes.
consistently. My job, it is to integrate that two polarities to become one. And analogy wise is to become the both head and tail part of the same coin, yin and yang.
Yeah.
So they are not opposite, but they're working
Together in synchronicity.
because in fact, it's there in synchronicity. In fact, there is no head or tail. It's head and tail, part of the same coin.
Right.
It's part of the same whole.
Yes.
And if you really think, polarization of the things of wrong and right or good and bad is just a conditioning. No such thing exists. It's a matter of perception. Just think of it. If there is not something that we perceive as bad,
yes,
the word good itself loses its meaning.
yes.
So to experience good, you need to have something to relate opposite to, so you can make the difference out of it. But they are not opposites. They work together as a whole. The moment when you integrate these two parts, two polarities, It's when congruency kicks in. So no matter what decision you take, you go all in. Whether you want to be a European or you want to be an Arab, or whether you want to scale the business, whether you want to fire your CEO, whatever you need to do, you go with congruency.
Oh, I
It
love
might
it.
not get you the results that you desire, but will definitely teach you a very valuable lesson how congruency looks like.
Yes.
In my mind, I don't see problems. I call them results that I don't like. That's my label.
Love it. I'm
I don't call
borrowing
it a
that.
problem.
I call them misfires, but I love that.
I call it results that I don't like, right?
Results I
So
don't
it's simply I
like.
don't like. And I was like, okay, I don't like this. What should I do to actually change towards results that I do like? And just shift towards there. And it's, yeah.
My goodness. So pause right there. You are describing something most people normalize. Why do you think traditional self help keeps people stuck in management mode instead of actually ending the issue? Why do you think that?
Well,
I mean,
can
I'm seeing the difference just listening to you.
have my own opinion, and this is just my own opinion.
Yes.
Doesn't need to be true for other people, but this is my truth. First, we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
Some people are not aware that there is something better out there. I mean, people were laughing when the light bulb was involved and they were pitching the idea.
Yes.
People were laughing, what type? Without candles, why do you need even a light bulb? Right?
Yes.
So they were laughing in that, and we found the value after that. Some people, they don't know. Another, I call it modality ego.
Mm.
Some people will going to get stuck into a certain modality and they will say, this is the thing. Let's say traditional therapists will say, I went to university 4 years and this is the best thing to be done. Cool. And they don't even open themselves for learning something more and something different. Or someone will be a hypnotist. Hypnosis is the best
The
thing
best
in the
thing
world.
ever.
Well,
Yes.
it's a great thing. I use it. I love it, but it works on a different layer from some of the other tools. So why not learning something more? Then you go to NLPer. NLPer will going to tell you NLP is the best thing.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
Now, I don't have that type of ego about. That's why I started with NLP, become a master NLP trainer,
Yes.
then become a master hypnotist. Then I went in cognitive behavioral science. Then I went in polarity study. Then in quantum linguistics, and I'm still learning. I traveled the world,
Yes.
absolutely everywhere, to learn anything that is not in the mainstream. So that is the second point.
Yes.
And the third point is that the third opinion that I have is people want to keep you as a monthly recurring revenue.
Come on.
People want to keep you, right? So here is the thing, because if you don't show up the next week, they're not making money.
Come on.
So they need to, and I'm not saying that everyone is like that. And
No, but
this
the
may be just a
majority of the mainstream. Yes.
misconception.
Yes.
Mainstream, they will going to keep you and they will create a certain program.
Yes.
I don't know, it's a sound healing, and they will keep you for you to go to a sound healing every day.
Yes.
That's all good.
Which is
It's a
dependency.
coping mechanism.
Yes.
It's a coping mechanism that soothes, it helps, but does not delete the problem at the root.
Right.
So
you're going
you
to be on
create a
repeat.
dependency on
Something else.
you on that coach or that person.
Yes.
You get a dependent, and so you need to keep on paying them. In my world, that doesn't exist.
Me either.
And I have
I'm not
colleagues
doing it.
in my world, it's like this. I have colleagues that are from the coaching world, and they look at me and they treat me like I'm crazy.
Yes.
Like, man, like, why don't you? I was like, man, I want a client when they come to me, they spend 5 days with me. That's a 15 hours that they're going to spend with me. And I don't need them to
Come
need
back
me
anymore.
anymore. I don't want them to. That's it. I
Come
want
on.
them to get out there ready to conquer the world, transformed. And that's why I do. And that's why I do it so successfully. Very
Right.
humble from my side.
Yes,
right?
of course. No, you are. Oh my goodness. You've got me stirred up because that is my mission. I tell my clients too, as we just launched my teaching people how to podcast and use it as part of their work to get their message out to the world. I started my podcast just for me to share my voice. And then now I have community to share with your voice as well. But I tell them, I said, you should do podcasts better than me. You should. Your podcast should be even more impactful in the world than the one I do, because I did not have the knowledge that you're going to get from me. and I want to teach you it, and you go on and do great. I don't want you to come back, because the reason I started into this world of self-help, was what they call it, self-help, but for me it's transformation, so that I can create a change in the world where people are just better humans, where people are living in a life of abundance and freedom, and just we just transform the planet. That is my vision. I did not even know that you make money helping people. I never thought of it. I always think there's going to be my career as a business professional, building ethical business and making transformation. But then there's going to be my work of writing books, of speaking, of helping people transform and coaching them. Didn't know you can make money in that area. And I think one of the things I've had to work, and I'm still now I need to delete, is that I do need to be paid very well to do that, because I didn't picture myself doing it full time. I only picture myself doing it alongside my work as a therapist. So when I get in, even now, my approach, and I will not change that, is if you are going back and forth, and that's why I talk about therapy. I said therapy is good, but it doesn't get the job done. And because you keep having to go there all
Unfortunately.
the time. And I'm like,
I
church
mean,
is
you
great,
look at it.
but it
Where
doesn't
is
get
the
the,
logic?
yes.
But where is the logic? Look at this. If you go to some certain type of traditional therapy and you go and you sit down and through you talk it through, you share your problems, you cry, you lay down in the couch and you have people, they're next to you, you have someone to talk with you. How are you even helping yourself when you are consistently reinforcing the same thought patterns, the same emotions
Come
running
on.
through your system? So you are just cementing, you're
Your
just
trauma.
anchoring those feelings even more, that trauma. So look, here is the thing. Just go on my Instagram, you will going to see like years, decades of trauma literally released on stage in 5 minutes in front of 50 other people. Because trauma have been created in a moment, in a second. What makes us think
We have to
that
fight
it cannot be
years.
reversed in a second? Why needs to be 20 years
Yes.
of a trauma to keep on going and healing trauma? It takes 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes.
Wow.
Literally 5 minutes.
Wow.
So in my mind is like, oh my goodness, people need help and people desperately need help, because no one in my mind, no one deserves to go through suffer. No one deserves to go through pain.
Yes.
No one deserves to not live the life to the fullest. And no
Yes.
matter how much money you make, if you're miserable inside your world, there is no world out there. There is always world inside.
Yes.
And our thinking about the world out there, if our thinking is screwed up, then your outer world is
Screwed
screwed
up.
up.
Period.
So that's the whole thing.
Now, you personally rebuilt your entire life after a major medical crisis. You walked away from a multi-million-dollar business. Now, that's no small pivot. That's a full system reboot. Walk me into that season. What did that moment force you to face about your own self? Because obviously, you did not realize this powerful method of healing, recovering, ultimately creating a life that you can only dream about. Most people just only, why can I feel happy? They have money. They don't have money. Why can I have money? Now they have money. Why am I not happy? But you rebooted. As a matter of fact, you deleted, you regenerated your whole system. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I literally got obsessed with that part, and it was a wake up moment
Uh huh.
when I finished with a stroke on a very young age.
Wow.
So at that point, so I was in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
And I was building a big career here. So I was director of operation and acting CEO of one of the biggest hospitality companies
Mm-hmm.
in UAE
Mm.
in general. So I was having more than 700 employees. Don't take me
Wow.
wrong, it was a lot of work, a
Yes.
lot of hours, no holidays and anything, but I was conditioned that I just need to push through. I need to not give up and I need to go suppress emotions, all of that part. Along the way, I destroyed so many relationships of mine because I was money oriented and all of that part. And there was a moment when, look, I was having a very good income, with the position that was coming. I was driving a Porsche GT3 RS, which is $300,000. I was
I
living in a
know that
penthouse,
vehicle.
and I will come back at home and I feel empty,
Hmm.
and I would feel disconnected from my core being. And all I did, it was working. I built myself an inner invisible prison about, because my belief system was adopted from my father, that I need to study hard, that I need to
Work
work hard, I
hard.
need to climb the corporate ladder, and then get to the retirement, and then enjoy life when I'm 65. That was the condition. But my body
Mm.
talked to me. So
Yeah.
there was one moment I was there, I was preparing myself for the shift and everything else, working through some documents, having a coffee, and I don't even remember. I finished in the hospital. Right? I don't even remember. I woke up, I see two of my colleagues were there and something else, like, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on? It was like I had a stroke. My whole left side was paralyzed.
Oh,
I couldn't talk properly. My left arm and my left leg was so weak and anything. And being a professional athlete before that, I felt very, very, very ashamed of myself being that way. And then I had a friend of mine, and she was like, "Bogdan, like I went on one event. It was like a seminar about neuro-linguistic programming, and I was like, what the hell is neuro-linguistic programming in that moment?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's something. It helps people to go for, like improve communication." She didn't even explain me what is it, and I was like, "Communication, okay." So I wanted to become a better leader,
right.
right? I wanted to grow there. Communication. I was like, okay, cool. That's not a problem. I will go. It was 10 days. I remember 10 days, like 12, 13 hours a day, like a seminar. I took days off. I was still under recovery from the stroke, and I went there to learn communication, just to discover how limited and, pardon my French, but how fucked I was inside. How
Yes.
much I was holding, how many things I didn't know. And
Right.
that was like a literally mind opening for me.
Wow.
And I got out of that seminar. I came out and I quit my job the same day, like when I finished everything. I was like, I'm not putting myself there. I know what I want right now in the moment. And it was the moment when I started, like I started my coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I started my coaching. And there was a moment when I paid a mentor, which was a business mentor in that moment, because I didn't know
Anything
anything how
about
to
this? Yeah.
develop a business. I had no idea. And he was like, "Man, that you're good in what you do, but you don't know this, you don't know this." And we started learning. He was like, "You need to become very good at sales. You need to become very good at closing if you want to, like get, because you will need to sell to people on your idea."
Mm-hmm.
And I took it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And first thing that I did, I remember I paid full one-on-one mentorship for sales. And then I was like, let me practice a little bit. And I got a remote sales job, like a gig. And the first month, I remember I made like $5,000. It was like $5,000. I was like, okay, cool. And the second month, I made $27,000 in commission.
Wow.
And the third month, I was already in $40,000 in commission. And I was like, this it's a good thing, and I
Yes.
continue going through this while building my own coaching business in the background. So
Yes.
I got into that part, and I realized I'm having more rapid results than the others in the new industry ring, simply because the way how I
Think.
think. So I need to study this. I was like, let's say this part. So then from NLP, I went to hypnosis. From hypnosis, cognitive behavioral science, and from there, just I started piling up knowledge, tools, modalities, and everything, so I can become better for myself first, and then I can help my clients.
Yes.
And it came a moment I was like, listen, I'm enough even with doing sales for someone else, because I find a pleasure, massive pleasure, in seeing a client transforms in front of
Yes.
my eyes.
Yes.
Clients that comes in pain and literally gets out without pain. And
Yes.
I was like, this is my mission at this moment. And that's why when I started going all in, and literally in 4.5 months, I built up that business to 7 figures.
Wow.
when it comes to a new business. So it was not my
Exactly.
knowledge about how to run a business. I have no clue even how to run ads, if I'm being completely honest,
Come
right?
on, you're
I have
talking to
no
me.
clue about that part. But it built up because it was the approach that I was having towards business.
Yes.
Because that's why now I don't help people with their business. I recode the human that
It is
is
running
running
the
the business,
business.
the human behind the business, so they can operate from a completely different level of awareness, congruence, confidence, joy, peace, and pleasure while they're taking care of their health, which
Oh,
is the
it's
most
an
important.
important thing. Yeah, that's the vehicle. Wow, that is so deep. You have made a case in this segment about overthinking, burnout, and anxiety. That you said in your work, you say that it's not a mindset problem, it's a system glitch that we have. I love that concept. Can you help us unpack that? What do you mean when you say burnout is actually a glitch, not a personality flaw?
But here is the thing, burnout, I don't believe in burnout. There is no burnout if you're operating from peace.
Agreed.
Burnout experience, people experience burnout when they are operating on their day to day from a fight or flight mode. What is
Yes.
fight or flight mode? They're experiencing severe, irrational, negative emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's guilt, whether it's shame, whether it's fear, whether it's shame. And they're experiencing that
Guilt.
consistently.
Yeah.
And what happens when the moment when they go into fight or flight mode, the systems for growth, they got shut down. First thing that shuts down is your digestive system, which means all the good food does not being delivered as an energy to your cells. It just get transformed into fat in your stomach or goes through the bowel outside, so you're not using it. That's why people start feeling chronic fatigue. That's why they
Mm,
and then the second system that shuts down is the immune system. And if the
mhm,
immune system shuts down, first, obviously, there will be some who is going to fight those little bugs, viruses, bacteria, germs. Who is going to fight? Immune system is shuts down.
mhm,
And it comes to the point that you cannot even recover. If the immune system does not work, recovery after working day is very slow or inexistent. That's
mhm.
why people sleep 16 hours and they still
You feel
wake up
tired.
we're super tired. And
Yes.
that's experiencing a burnout.
Yes.
Third point that shuts down is your intelligence. So I don't care how much knowledge you have or how high of IQ is. When you are in a fight or flight mode, you operate with maximum 20% of your intelligence. And
Wow.
if you're operating from maximum 20% of your intelligence, you don't make good decisions. Are
No.
you? This
No.
is
Wow.
Think about it. When a
Yes.
person gets angry, extremely angry, they stand up, they punch the wall, and they break their hand.
Yes.
How smart is that?
Come on.
How smart is that?
Yeah.
Or you're talking with a vendor, with a certain vendor, and instead of you building a relationship, they say something that you perceived as a bad, you start shouting back, you lost the opportunity to even negotiate. If you're closing a deal, if you're afraid that they are better than you and you are putting them on a pedestal, they will feel that incongruency within you. They don't want to make a business with you. It's not certain in themselves. And all of those system glitches have started happening. That's why
Yes.
when I say like there's no burnout, there is no burnout.
It's a
If
glitch.
you come from a place where you do operate from peace, from calm. Not that you're not going to get triggered, you will, but how long you stay into that
Mhm.
loop is up to your choice. And there is a ways how to actually train that, and there is a way how to remove the trigger itself so it does not shows up anymore, and all the techniques that my
Express.
clients
Yeah.
already know.
Wow.
Anxiety. Define anxiety for me. Define anxiety. Anxiety is just a fear from a future event that we are imagining in our head that is going to go bad,
Yes.
right? So it's a future event
Yeah.
that never happened, but we are
And we already
imagining,
made one.
telling ourselves a story
Yes.
that it will go the way that we don't want to go. Like, simple example, we have exam. What if I fail? How do you know that you will fail? And you will fail for sure if you think that way, because you will not going to be intelligent enough to be study and to retain the knowledge for that exam. And when you showed up there, they say, "Oh, I'm nervous, I have anxiety." You will not going to pass that exam simply because you are in fight or flight mode already. You're stressed as fuck in that moment,
Yes.
and even if you study it, you cannot get it. And then That's it. But the moment when you use a certain, let's say, calming technique, when you forget it's not true, what if I get anxiety vanishes? It's way simpler than people want to think about it or is being presented to us. I mean, what is that? I feel anxiety and you go and take a pill. And then
Right.
after, go deal with addiction. Go and deal with addiction after
Now
that.
yes, exactly. My goodness. Wow, you talk a lot about something called calm performance, and it's cortisol that's destroying people's edge. You just mentioned that a little bit without saying the C word. I say the C word, cortisol. Break it down for us. Why is calm power more effective than hustle power? I love that because I feel like that is something that's broken down society. Is we gotta hustle, we gotta have bigger, better, more. Why is calm power more effective?
When I say hustle, first I want you to get the meaning that I have behind hustle and the meaning that majority mainstream people will going to assign. Most of the people, when they say hustle, they what the word presupposes itself: struggle, suffer. I need to
Yes.
hustle.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of a little bit of a macho man alpha type of
Yes.
silver
We're
gorilla
we're
type
on
of
we're
attitude,
on
right?
the
They're
hu
popping
I'm the
ourselves in the
hustle.
chat.
I've been hustling since I was 10. I'm a
Yeah,
hustler.
I mean, I'm all in from hustling, which means putting the effort, putting the time, putting all the efforts. I'm all
I
in from
like that
hustling,
part. Yeah.
but not from a place of struggle and suffer.
Yes.
Because you can put the same amount of hours and the same amount of effort feeling good while
Mm.
doing it,
Wow.
not associating it with negative
And
emotions.
struggle.
And
Yeah.
let's bring you back when you were a kid. When you were a kid, you will be on the street 50, at least myself, 15, 16 hours playing football, playing basketball, playing baseball, sprinting dudes, and we never get tired,
Mhm.
right? We come back home, we are at home, and we eat, we go to sleep, we take a shower. The next day it's again and again and again. Why? Because we enjoy that game.
Yes.
And but most importantly, why? Because we don't really worry when we are kids, right?
Mhm.
And we don't really worry. We don't know really what stress it is. And now imagine if you in your business can come to the place that you're putting the work in, but it feels good.
Yes.
There is no negative emotion and you feel joy. Are you going to put more work or less work? No, if it feels good, are you going to put more work or less? You will
I put
search
more.
for a good feeling, right?
Yeah.
Put more work, right?
Yes.
So you put more work. Are you going to be more productive or less productive? You will be
More
more productive.
productive.
Are you going to have a better results or worse results? There
It'll
will
be
be
better.
better results. That's why operating from a calm power. And in fact, power is when you are undeniably most authentic self and coming from that place. You being afraid is not your authentic self. It's a story, it's a part of that shitty
Ooh.
identity. You being angry, it's not your most authentic self. It's not in your nature. Babies, remember? They're not angry. They always laugh. They only cry when they have a stomach pain or they need to eat, so they need to alarm their parents.
Right.
Otherwise, the moment when they wipe their ass, they start put a smile
And they're
automatically. So that's in our
yeah.
on their face. So it's in our nature. But then after we started learning that we need to stress out and we need to hustle and all of that, and then we are limiting our intelligence,
My
limiting our health, our
goodness.
energy, and
Yes.
absolutely everything. And we are never going to be able to progress the way with the speed that we hold potential for.
Yeah.
Get to the point. And that's a power. Everything else is forcing it. Now, I want to come from a power. Have you ever seen, tell me, have you ever seen truly powerful man or a woman misbehaving, being angry?
Oh, and you
I
think
haven't.
about it. Yeah. Mahatma
But think
Gandhi,
about
Mother
Elon Musk,
Teresa, none of
yeah, Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela,
these two people
all
are
of those
very calm.
Mandela. Get to the point of start from now. Elon Musk, you see him stable. He
Yes.
doesn't show emotions
No.
ups and down.
Right.
So people, the highest performers in the world, they don't stress out. They learn how to regulate that part because their usage of their brain and their mind is
Very
way
high
more important
performance.
than anything else. So that's why I always talk the performance from a calm power.
Mhm.
And now you see, go and see those people that are panicking, worrying, stressing out throughout the day. have the potential within, but they are not reaching it simply because they're covering it with those negative, unwanted emotions, those disrupted limiting beliefs, and all of that part that is stopping their progress. I have proven that to myself because I've been on the both sides. I have proven that with the clients because they have been on the both sides. I have been coaching people, let's say celebrities, very high level executives here in the UAE, everything under NDA, that needs to be done.
Yes.
And I know how those people operate. I'm not saying they're not working. They're probably working more than anyone
Most
else
of
that I have
us,
known,
yes. But they're on
but
the
I know from
calm.
which place they're, so they're not in the commercialized meaning of a hustle.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I never say you need to work hard. Work the right amount of time, put the right amount of effort that is aligned with your goal. If the goal is big,
You,
right amount
you
of
have to
effort
go
and right
more.
amount of time will be different.
But
But don't say I
default,
need to work
your
hard.
operating system will determine how effective you are with the time and the effort. And I can say that to be true because I call it spinning my wheels. I've spun my wheels. I've worked hard and don't have anything to prove for it because I'm working from a place of fear instead. Oh my goodness, I could see it. We have so many people that are leaders and high achievers in my audience. Many of us hide behind the word productivity while we really what are we really covering up when we are like,
Well,
I'm being productive and I don't have time, I'm busy, but still not getting results. What are we really hiding?
that can be multiple things,
Yeah.
right? I'm being productive. I mean, what even productivity means. In my mind, it may mean one thing, in your mind can mean different things. Now, here is the thing. Are we telling the truth to ourselves or
Mm,
are we lying to ourselves and we are wearing a mask? Right? Are we wearing a mask? Because we can try to convince ourselves that we are productive, but deep inside we know that we are not. But it's hard to admit it because there is this misconception that if you say that you feel afraid of taking an action, you will be judged,
yes.
right? And they will tell you that you're a weak person. And it's simply not true. To a certain point, vulnerability and seeking for help for yourself is actually a strength because you're open to grow.
Yes.
That's a power because you're open to fix what is not working at this moment.
Wow.
I have one very specific approach when it comes to working with clients.
Hmm.
When a client comes to me, I don't see a broken person.
Come
I
on.
don't
I
see
love
that
that.
I don't see that you need fixing.
Mm,
I don't see that. I see that you're just running an outdated software that is not serving your purpose
you need to
anymore. So
delete.
let's come and let's delete that part.
Yes.
And you know how all of these coaches and their grandma and their dog out there and many people, they will going to, when a client comes, they will ask you like, tell me, who do you want to become?
Mm,
Like I will be like, hold a moment. You do not need to become anyone. You need to unbecome
who
who
you
you are
are.
not to begin with.
Who,
You don't need to become someone else. You need to remember who you
that's it.
truly were before the conditioning, before the world told you
Who
who
you
you
would
need to be.
be. Hmm. It's a
When you come to
return.
that point, then when you come to that point is when creativity, intuition,
Mm.
inspiration kicks in and then design your life.
Ooh, I love it. Whoo, whoo. Oh my goodness. And I've been saying this, we are to return to who we were. I love that. I love that alignment. Oh my goodness. It's going by so quickly. We have to do another episode. So let's talk about flip the script, a moment when you knew that you had to change your internal system. What method did you use and what exact mindset shift? Well, we know it's not a shift. What did you delete that changed everything
Oh,
for you?
but it was not one day. It was not one moment. I have been going through this journey a decade, more than a decade right now in the moment. The first thing is understanding and building awareness where I was selling myself short. That was the first thing. That's the way how I think, how I think is being conditioned, where it comes from. And then I start working. It was not one problem. There were thousands of problems that I needed to deal with. Then some of them I get rid of. And then I learned another modality, then something different, then another modality, something different. And now I was talking to a client today. I am excited to get triggered. And that sounds weird,
You're
right?
trigger happy.
Some people will, and some people will say, like, why are you excited to get triggered? Because my unconscious mind tells me exactly there is something else that I haven't looked at. So I can improve and I can get better. I can get in and I can delete it within myself. Because what is emotion? Emotion is a feedback mechanism for the quality of your thinking at a given moment. It's just a feedback mechanism. So your unconscious mind presents it, if it's a negative emotion, presents it like pain. So the moment when it shows, it's a perfect alarm. It says, your body tells you, your unconscious mind tells you, hey, ouch, this hurts. Stop thinking this way. You're hurting yourself. And then I just go in and I was like, okay, why? What's the belief that supports this emotion right now at the moment? Okay, it's this one. Okay, let's deal with this. And I know that I have just grown.
Yes.
So it's what I'm talking. It's nothing like positive thinking or not
Yes, not
caring or
the
running away from
positive.
emotion.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing it, appreciating it because it showed you that there is something there, and then deal with it.
Exactly.
Simple.
Yes, because we rebuild from the inside and success starts to look different. So, what is your definition of success now in your life?
The ability to do what I need to do when I need to do it.
Wow, that is so I'm taking that in. I'm taking that in. That is awesome. What is next for you in your journey?
God knows. I learned to be completely detached of certain expectations
Mm,
and to be completely detached of a certain planning because that's what keeps me very present in the moment and I'm enjoying every step of the way. Now I do have a certain desires and I do have a certain plans. Let's say from next year, from 2026, I will start my own certification of the Be Relentless method so
yes.
people can actually learn how to do what I do. And all of
Yes.
that is going to be more into a group setting events, live, in
Count me
person,
in.
building
Count me in.
absolutely. And probably the first one is going to be in Bali. You will love it.
Oh, yes.
So starting with that point and to spread the mission. So if they are coaches, they can do it with their clients. If
Yes.
they want to do it for themselves, they can do it for themselves. If they want to do it with their friends and families, they can do it there. Or if they want to start a business out of that, they can start doing that as well. I don't
Yes.
care how they use it and what they
It
use it.
needs
As
to go
soon as they're doing
further.
good
Yes.
with the people, as soon as it helps other people, I'm happy. My mission is fulfilled.
I can't wait for that. Oh my goodness. Ooh, this is so powerful. So before I cheat, I need to give you 90 to 120 seconds. I love to put those heavy numbers on it. So you can speak to the people on your own terms as if it was your last little bit to give to the world. What would you say to us that we can walk away from being relentless today? I'll step away from the mic and the camera and it's all you. Here we go.
So I'm going to say like this. You don't experience life. You experience the life that you're focusing on. You're incapable to experience the world outside of you directly. You're only capable to experience your own thinking about the world, which means your thinking produces your feeling and you're consistently living in the feeling of your own thinking. So if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a founder, a business owner, high performer, 20 point, and you know that you have reached kind of the limit and you're capping yourself and something invisible is missing and pulling you back, just reach out. You can find me on Instagram the easiest way, Micov Bogdan, MICOV BOGDAN. Go through the materials. I'm posting a lot of content on a daily basis. Reach out. I will send you a gift. Just say I was on the podcast. I listened to the podcast with Dr. Alisa, and I will send you a gift. And let's get some job done because you're not broken. You don't need fixing. All you do is running just old software, And let's change that.
You're not broken. You don't need fixing. And I'm telling you, I am so excited to figure out what's going on with being relentless because I have some processes that need to be deleted. I do. I have it myself. Next time he comes back, we're going to share how he helped me delete at least one of my old systems and put in a new system because I have to experience it. There's a breakthrough that I needed. So I needed this episode today to help me with my next level because there's always room to grow and glow in this journey, in this thing called life. Listen, you all have to connect with Bogdan. He has told you how to reach out and he has that special gift for you. All this information is going to be in the link wherever, in the description, wherever you're watching or listening to this episode. I told you all that this conversation was not going to be a soft one, that he was going to be in your face, and we did not talk about hacks. We talked about deletion. We talked about identity and rebuilding your system from the ground up. All the ways to stay connected, as I said, is in the description. Let Bogdan know that you heard him here on Mindset Mastery Moments. Bogdan, thank you so much for teaching us what we needed today to help us challenge those limitations of just repeating cycles and wearing masks and being inauthentic to our own selves and giving us a few breakthroughs that we can actually reboot our own system. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Disruptors, we'll see you on the next episode. Keep mastering your mindset. Think, speak, do become. Yes, Bogdan is going to be back on Mindset Mastery Moments. I am promising on his behalf. That way he cannot escape me because I know he's busy doing a whole lot, but he'll be back with us. You'll see us real soon. Bye-bye. Thank you.